Good day to everyone. So, we are here today to present our report. So, first is what is monopoly? So, monopoly is derived from the Greek meaning one seller. So, kapag sinabi nating monopoly is ito ay uri ng pamilihan na yung isa ang nagbibili ng produkto. Ibig sabihin nito, may isang producer o negosyante ang kumukontrol ng malaking porsyento ng supply ng produkto sa pamilihan na tinatawag na monopolista o sa Ingles is monopolies. So yung monopoly is a market structure characterized by a single seller selling a unique product in the market. In a monopoly market, the seller faces no competition o wala silang kakompetensya as he is the sole seller of goods with no close substitute.
Monopoly is the sole supplier of a product with no close substitute. No close substitute means no close competitors, or in monopolized economy, there is no competition because in a monopoly, there is only one seller of product. A monopolized market is characterized by barriers to entry, which are the legal restrictions, economies of scales, and control of essential resources. Barriers to entry. Barriers to entry means any impediment that prevents new firm from entering an industry and competing on an equal basis with existing firms. In other words, barriers to entry ay mga hadlang para sa isang firm para makipag-compete sa isang monopolized economy. These barriers to entry limit potential competitors to a firm. Let's take for example, si RC Cola, which is distributed by the RC Refreshments Corporation. Let's assume that Philippines has a monopolized market. So monopoly means one product, one seller. Let's assume that RC Cola is the only cola soft drinks allowed by our government to be sold or distributed. Then, Coca-Cola Company wants to enter the market in the Philippines. Since RC Cola is the only allowed cola in the Philippine market, what are the factors that prevent Coca-Cola to enter monopolized economy? These factors are now called the barriers to entry. First barrier, legal restriction, means any injunction, judgment, order, decree, ruling, charge, or other restriction of any governmental authority. One way to prevent new firm from entering a market is to make entry illegal. Patents, licenses, and other legal restriction imposed by the government provide some producers with legal protection against competition. Patent and invention incentives, licenses, and other entry restriction. Legal restriction means legal limitations. Means these legal restrictions are imposed by the government to make new firms entering the market illegal. Means si RC Cola has a patent, licenses, and permit that is issued by the government. Itong mga patents at licenses na ito ay nagsisilbing protection para walang makipag-compete sa kanila na ibang product. Therefore, kapag pumasok si Coca-Cola sa market, magiging illegal ang pagbenta niya ng product because of this legal restriction that is only exclusive to RC Cola. Patent and invention incentives. First, let's define patent. Patent is a legal barrier to entry that grants the holder the exclusive right to sell the product for 20 years from the date the patent application is filed. A patent gives the inventor the exclusive right to make, use, or sell the invention for a limited time. Just like RC Cola, kung mapapansin nyo sa bote ng RC Cola, may nakalagay na Reg Phil Pat Off, meaning registered to Philippine Patent Office. RC Cola is granted by the Philippines exclusive right to its product, meaning si RC Cola lang ang may karapatang magbenta ng product niya, exclusive right to sell, and exclusive right to the product. In United States, patent lasts for 20 years. This 20 years validity encourage inventors to innovate to improve their existing product or to develop a new one. This process is now called innovation. Innovation means the process of turning an innovation into a marketable product. Licenses and other restrictions. Government often confer monopoly status by awarding an individual firm the exclusive right to supply a particular goods or services. A license can serve as an effective barrier against the new competitors. It does block entry of other firms and gives the existing firm the product to charge prices above the competition level. Walang competitor, therefore, the market does not know that there are still other products, so the existing firm charges its product above the SRP. Next barrier, economies of scale, existing from benefits from lower average cost due to size. So, existing firm benefits from lower average due to size. When a single firm can supply a market demand at a lower average cost, nagkakaroon ng long run average and doon nagkakos ng downward sloping. When we say downward sloping, to fall or bumababa. For example, to produce tap water companies had to invest in a huge network of water pipes stretching throughout the country. The fixed cost of this investment very high. However, since they distributed water to over 30 million households, it brings the average cost down. Next barrier, control of unessential resources. If a single firm has a control over unessential resources, it can eliminate competition by denying competitors access to the resources. For example, the International Nickel Company of Canada, now known as INCO, used to control 90% for the world's known nickel reserves. A new firm trying to enter the nickel market at the time would have an extremely hard time since the monopoly had all the resources. Revenue for monopolies. Because a monopoly by definition supplies the entire market, the demand for a monopoly's output is also the market demand. The demand curve therefore slopes down, reflecting the law of demand. Price and quantity demand are the inversely related. Let's look at the demand average revenue and marginal revenue. A monopoly's gain and loss in total revenue from selling one more unit. So, prices, quantity. For example, the pH is 7,000. Tapos, yung PL is 6,750. Quantity 1 is 3 and quantity H is 4. So, parang yung average revenue sa first to third day, nagtinda sila ng diamond costing of 7,000. Yun yung PH, 7,000 tapos quantity 1 is 3. 7,000 times 3 is 21,000. Revenue for 3 days is 21,000. 21,000 yan yung average revenue. Then, sa 4th day, yun yung quantity H. Nagbenta na sila ng 4 diamond which cost 6,750. Yun yung tinutukoy kong P1 or PL. 6,750 times 4 is equals to 27,000. 27,000, yan yung marginal revenue na marginal revenue is tinataas yung demand from 3 diamond to 4 diamond na binababaan yung price from 7K to 6,750 na. Marginal revenue is always mababa kesa sa average revenue. Sa marginal revenue, binababaan yung price, then tumataas yung demand. Revenue schedule. A revenue schedule represents how revenue amount from a single charge are distributed over time and recognized in accounting period. Revenue schedules maintain consistency with the currency used. In addition, shows the amount of revenue generated by a firm at different prices. For example, column 1 lists the quantity of a diamond demanded per day and column lists the corresponding price or average revenue. Together, the two columns are the demand schedule for 1 carat diamond. The price in column 2 times the quantity in column 1 yields the monopoly's total revenue in column 3. So, total revenue is equals to price times quantity. As the bear sells more, total revenue increases until the quantity reaches the 5 diamonds. Marginal revenue, the change in total revenue from selling one more diamond, appears in column 4. In short term, total revenue is equals to changes in total revenue divided by the changes in quantity. Note, in Exhibit 3, after the first unit, marginal revenue is less than price. As the price declines, the gap between the price marginal revenue widens. As the price declines, the loss from selling all diamond for less increase because the quantity increase, and the gain from selling another diamond decreases because of the price falls. Revenue curve. In a monopoly market, the marginal revenue curve and the demand curve are the distinct and downward sloping. Production occurs where the marginal cost and marginal revenue intersect. Total revenue equals price times quantity. Note that the marginal revenue curves is below the demand curves and that total revenue reaches a maximum where marginal revenue is 0.
The firm's cost and profit maximization. So first, let me define what is a profit maximization. So, an idea in a classical economics in that companies aim to achieve maximum income. So, profit is equal to total revenue or the TR minus the total cost. Therefore, the profit maximization occurs at the biggest gap between total revenue and the total cost. Total revenue minus total cost is equal to profit. So, total revenue minus total cost is the total profit of a firm or a business. So, this can be increased by increasing the price, decreasing the cost while keeping the price constant, or increasing the sales of the product or the service. So, short run losses and shutdown decision. So, losses in the short term and the decision to shut down when the company's average total cost curve exceeds in the marginal sales curve at the profit maximizing stage of production. So the company is losing money and must decide whether or not to shut down. So as you can see to the graph, there are two choices. There is the do not shut down and the shutdown. As you can see at the shutdown, marami or malaki yung impact ng firm loses, and then sa do not shutdown is konti lang yung magiging firm loses niya. And then next is the monopoly in the allocation of resources. So to evaluate the allocation effect of a monopoly, we will use a perfectly competitive constant cost industries as a basis of comparison. So, price and output under perfect competition. So, under perfect competition, the market price and the production are decided by customer demand and market supply. To put in another way, so businesses and industries should be in a balance at price level where quantity demand equals quantity supply.
Price discrimination. The model developed so far. To sell more output, a monopolist must lower the price. In reality, a monopolist can sometimes increase profit by charging higher price to those who value the product more. The practice of charging different price to different group of customers is called price discrimination. Price discrimination is a selling strategy that charges customers different price for the same product or service based on what the seller thinks they can get the customer to agree to. In pure price discrimination, the seller charge his customer the maximum price they will pay. Discrimination sa presyo ay isang diskarte sa pagbebenta sa mga customer ng iba't ibang mga presyo, pero sila ay may pare-pareho namang produkto or serbisyo. Problem estimating the deadweight loss of monopoly. Problem estimating the deadweight loss of monopoly. The actual cost of monopoly could differ from the deadweight loss described so far. Costs could be lower or higher. Why the deadweight loss of monopoly be lower? If economies of scale are substantial enough, a monopolist may be able to produce output at a lower cost per unit than could competitive firm. Therefore, the price, at least the cost of production, could be lower under monopoly than under competition. Why the deadweight loss of monopoly be higher? Another line of reasoning suggests that the deadweight loss of monopoly may in fact be greater than shown in our simple diagram. If resource must be devoted to resourcing and maintaining a monopoly position, monopolies may impose a greater welfare loss than simple model suggestion. The monopoly, the deadweight loss of monopoly be higher or lower. The monopoly pricing creates a deadweight loss because the firm forgoes transaction with the customers. Monopolies can become inefficient and less innovative over time because they do not have to compete with other producers in a marketplace. In the case of monopolies, abuse of power can lead to market failure.